Nice.
So we're starting the class with a awesome banjo player. How you doing, sir?
Hi, I'm fine. I feel like I know
awesome.
you.
I unmuted your wife, and she didn't know I was unmuting her, and all of a sudden I started some banjo playing. It was awesome.
I didn't mean to interfere with what you're doing, but she's in a different room and I'm in a different. But these things are so loud.
That's awesome. So you guys have the mutual interest in music.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, we're trying to get into it late in life, and we absolutely love it. It's been part of our life now. And it's the banjos. I have two banjos, and this is a good time Sierra, which I use a lot because it's light. Then I have a real good. This is a good time Deering banjo, and I have a Sierra, but that's like 12 pounds. It's kind of heavy. It's a real good one, but this one's a lot of fun, and it has a very good sound. So
they're both loud.
Wonderful. I can just tell you enjoy it. That's really great.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I'll let you go.
Cool. Thanks. Nice to meet you.
Good work.
Nice to meet you. Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. So yeah, welcome class to the fiddling Tuesday night 7 o'clock class. And by popular request, we're going to be working on droning today. So last week, you guys expressed that you'd like to learn that. So yeah, certainly a lot to be said about it. A lot of things with technique that can be said that will help out to hopefully start getting some of those drones into your fiddle tunes, ornamentation, all that good stuff. So yeah, I kind of like to get a feel for where you guys are at with droning, or if you even know what it is. You know, actually what I'll do is I'll introduce what it is, and then let me know if you've done it before and kind of where you're at with it. So yeah, basically droning is where we're playing two strings at once, and it's basically where we're playing fingers on one string, and then the other string is open with no fingers down. So it's basically two strings going on at once, and one's being played, picked, or whatever, and then the other one is playing along with it, basically. So it's a very common technique in fiddle playing, and it's added to a lot of tunes to make it sound more fiddly, more you know, more country or Irish or bluegrass, or whatever style you're trying to implement. So, so yeah, let me ask Ed. Are you been doing a little bit of droning here and there? And some of you're in some fiddle classes, right, Ed?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've been doing droning. In fact, it's quite nice to drone when you're playing an A or a D or a G, because the matching string resonates with it.
Yep, exactly. Have you struggled with it, or sort of got it down, or?
Well, I don't know if I've got it down. I can do it, but I don't know if I can do it all the time. You know, that's the problem. You know?
It's a tougher technique, absolutely. Yeah, it's basically it's challenging because you know, when you're playing violin or fiddle, you have leeway with how much your bow can be in a different plane by just a little bit. So if you watch me do this, watch how my bow can rock, but it still creates the same tone, the same sound on one string, like this. Now, I don't want you guys to do that. That's bad technique. But I'm showing you that technically you could have your bow a little bit higher or lower on one string and still produce the same. So, So yeah, basically, the reason why drones are more challenging is because it requires you to have the bow in exactly the perfect spot. You can't rock the bow one way or the other, or you'll get a bad sound. And a lot of you guys that have tried droning might have experienced that, or gotten some bad tones and noises with your drones. So yeah, we actually have with us here in our class Marianne Frisco, who's a teacher and violin teacher as well, and knows a lot about the fiddle. So I'm actually gonna really involve her on some of the tips and stuff like that. So yeah, Marianne, what's your thoughts on drones? What are some of your experiences with it, and do you enjoy doing it with fiddle tunes?
Yeah, actually, I think it adds a lot to the tunes. I use them when they're, how am I going to explain this? When they're part of a chord. Sometimes it's helpful to have an example. Like, for example,
Choking for a while is a good one. I'll probably demonstrate that one with drones.
Okay, well, I forget what key that's in. What key is that?
It's key of D.
Okay, so in that case, usually you would drone on a D string. When you hit a note that's in the same chord, but you kind of have to know about chord theory then that way. When you have a note such as A, D, or F sharp, that's when you would use that, assuming it's next to your string, the next string. So if you're playing on the A string, you would drone on the D string when you use actually, sometimes just listening to it is the best way to do it. If it sounds good with that note, then that's when you add it, and you just keep it on there. You can also tune your violin to a different note so that it will drone. That's called cross tuning, but maybe I'm getting too advanced.
No, I love Bonaparte's Retreat. That's fun to do. I've done that. Cross tuning, that's fun.
Yeah, for example, you might change the G string to an A, and that way you can use the A when you're using the D string. So that's kind of cool to do that.
Yeah, great. Yeah, it's fun. It adds a lot. So, I'll actually take the example of a Shokin for a while, so a lot of you guys know that piece, and it adds a lot to it, by basically just adding in that adjunct string, which is basically droning. So here is me playing Shokin for a while without drones. So later in the piece, so. So that was just bass notes. That was just the single notes by themselves. Now I'm going to add in drones. Okay, so now I'm adding in a different string, and I'll explain kind of where I did that, more detail, but I'll play it first. So. Right here. Basically what I'm doing is I'm playing A string along with notes on the D string there. See that? And the key to do it properly is to have the fingers on the tips. So a lot of you guys that are struggling with drones are just having too low of a hand. And if you just even barely nick the string when you're trying to do that open, what it does is it makes a really nasty cat noise. So you guys might have accidentally done that. So yeah, having good hand position is huge with droning. Actually, if you guys want to grab your instruments a second, let's actually try something. So what I want you to do is I want you to put your second finger down on the D string, F sharp. Okay. Second finger down on the D string. Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to aim the second finger more towards the G string. Okay, so I don't want you to put it right on top of the string. I want you to aim it more towards the G string because we want to have the A string open to do this drone, okay? So the key is not to touch the A string, okay? If you touch the A string, you're going to get this really bad sound. Okay, so what I want you guys to do, you can put your bows down right now. And what I want you to do is just, this is mostly for beginners doing this. I want you to pizzicato the A string as you're holding down the second finger on the D string, like that. So if you're getting this, that's the bad sound that you're going to potentially get if you're touching the A string. So depending on where the drone is, there's sometimes you're going to play on the D string or on the A string. along with the notes, depending on the key you're in. That's kind of what Marianne was referring to there. So let's say I'm playing on the D string and I have notes on the A. I want to aim more towards the G string and not touch the A. Let's say I have notes on the D string and I want to drone the G string, then I'm aiming my fingers more towards the A string with my context. Now my G string is open. Like that. So I'm trying to stay away from that string, whatever string I'm droning, okay? So let's go ahead and try doing some drones on the D string and just do a scale. And basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna play open D, first finger on the D string, second finger on the D string, third finger on the D string, and then we're even going to do a fourth finger on the D string. As fourth finger drones are really cool. It's technically the same notes if you do it on D and A. It's actually cool to do sliding with it. Very fiddle sound. So we're going to do all those fingers. We're going to do first finger, second finger, third, 3, and 4. It's going to be a big test of your left hand technique. All right, so the goal is not to hit the A string. We're trying to stay away from that string, okay? And we'll warm up just with the string by itself, okay? And then the second time through, we'll actually play along with the A string, okay? Let's try it. I'll do 2 of every note, okay? 2 of each note, 1 down, 1 up bow, and then we change the note, all right? Ready, go. Okay, so that was just single notes by itself. Now we're going to add in the drones. And I apologize if it sounds bad in the recording. The one thing that I've never figured out, or I don't think is even out there, is good software for violin music with 2 strings. So I apologize, it's not going to sound as good as it should. But this is now going to be the same thing we just did with both D and A strings together, okay? All right, let's try it. Ready? Go. It's like that. So potentially that could have been challenging if you don't have good hand position, if your hand's not high enough, your angles aren't back enough. All the things we talk about in the violin technique classes are applying here. So that's why a lot of fiddlers struggle sometimes with stuff like this, because they don't have necessarily the best technique. So having the hand high enough to avoid the other string is huge with droning. Any questions on that? Free to post a question. Put the gallery view on here. Raise your hands up with a question. Ed's just playing away. Good job, Ed. All right, so good. So hope that makes sense regarding drones. What I recommend us adding in now, let's add in slides along with what we just did. As a lot of times you don't just play the notes with the drone, with the added good string, you slide into it. So instead of is like that. Okay, so basically what I'm doing with that is I'm sliding from a low 1 position up into a normal 1. For second finger, I'm starting where basically an F natural is into an F sharp. For a G, I'm starting where the F sharp is, going into the G natural. So technically we're doing ba hum ba 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 hum bum bum. So you gotta kind of replace ba hum bum bum ba hum bum bum. And then even 4 can be done. Ba hum bum bum ba hum bum bum. With the 4 working independently. This is going to be really hard for some of you guys. Raise your hands if you guys are struggling with 4th finger slides, because your 4th fingers are not independent. Tension. We want this to be independent for sliding. So we don't want to be going like this to slide, right? We want to be just using the 4 pinky. Good, good. So let's try that. So let's do the same exact thing, but let's slide into each of the notes. Okay, so I'm not, it's not what I just did. It's going to be like that. Ready? Go. Like that. Shiba, you have a question? Raise your hand. Go ahead. Question?
Hear me. That's what I'm. Oh my goodness. I don't know what I'm doing.
Okay, that's all right. Thanks for joining us. You're the, actually, because it's just so exciting and not everybody sees all my videos, El Shiba was the winner of the bow contest. Give her a big hand.
Thanks.
She's here with us today. Hey, we're casual here, you know. So.
Okay, I didn't get it on my computer, so I'm on my phone and I'm trying to figure out how to get into this class.
People can relate to you, I'm sure, right now in this moment. Well, thanks for coming. So we have a fan out of you. You're coming to the classes. Thanks for coming.
That's exciting. And you say my name, Alicia.
I probably totally butchered your name. I'm so sorry.
Everybody, no, it's okay. I just figured everybody does, so.
Sorry about that. Cool. All right. So, yeah, if you guys have any questions at all, raise your hands and I'll call on you. So, I'll unraise your hand. Good.
Oh, unraise my hand. Oh, sorry.
You're fine. No worries. Made us laugh. We need to laugh once in a while. Good laugh. All right.
I don't see where to raise the hand, but I have a question. I don't understand the sliding into it very well.
Okay, sliding in general with playing or sliding with drones?
Both actually. I play the drones just straight on, like the second half of Forked Deer has the 4th finger down while you play the 1st and 2nd on the A string, if you know that song. And Ragtime Annie also, but I never do. I don't think I'm doing slides right.
Okay. Yeah, I can watch you do it if you'd like. I'd be happy to. Or, yeah, do you have a specific question about it? I mean, basically what we're doing is we're starting a half step below the intonation, and then we're working up into the proper intonation. That's sort of the rule. So if it's an F sharp, we're starting in a half step below an F sharp, which is technically an F natural. So when I talk about half steps, basically all the keys on the piano or every note in the musical scale. So we're basically going from F to F sharp. If we're trying to slide a G, we're basically sliding from where the F sharp is to the G. And then as far as the way that we do it, you know, you can do it different ways depending on the mood of the piece. You know, if it's more, you can do it more droopy. I like to do it more kind of on a sudden movement. I think that sounds pretty cool. That's kind of more country fiddling. Like that, but I mean, slide. But yeah, I don't do that much. And then also sliding, you can also slide downwards. And I commonly do that in adding ornamentation. A lot of times when I have a first finger, I slide down towards the nut. That sounds pretty cool. So I'll do, you know. Like that. Going this way. Sounds pretty neat in certain passages. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does make sense.
Okay. Cool. All right. So, well, let's do this. I'm going to actually teach you guys a tune. Fiddlers like learning tunes, right? All right. So we're going to do Bile and Cabbage Down. All right, so I'm going to teach you guys this by ear, and we're gonna. It's a simple tune. It's even considered a basic beginner. We just started tune, but you can add a lot to it to make it sound even better, including drones. Okay, so this is a great piece if you've never done drones and you're kind of wanting to learn them. So yeah, this would be good. So yeah, basically, Bile and Cabbage down is going to be on the A string. It's C sharp, high second finger. It's going to be like this, quarter note followed by eighth notes. So it's basically second finger, 3, 2, 1, and then we repeat that, and then open. So you kind of start off with two of the same things, 2, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, 0, like that. Okay, so that's the easy bass notes. But what you can also do with that is you can also play on the E string. So you can play everything I just showed you along with the E string. So the same things apply that we talked about, staying away from the E string, and that makes the most baddest cat noise you can even imagine. If you accidentally nick the E string, you'll know it when you hear it. I'm not even going to try to demonstrate it. You guys know what I'm talking about. It sounds bad. So it's even that more crucial to have good hand position. See how high I am off the fingerboard. So a lot of you guys, this is actually very common. This is a great piece to work on for you guys because a lot of you guys on the E string, you're like this. You're over here playing instead of being up, tucking fingers back. This is good practice. So even if you're a classical player watching this is good practice. Okay, so we're staying away from that E string, so you guys can actually do what we talked about earlier, plucking the E. So what I just showed you, actually play it. Both, you could pluck the notes, that's pretty easy, but put the fingers down and also pluck the E string. So like this. And if you did it properly, you would not have gotten this. And that sounds so much better compared to what it sounds like with the bow. Okay. So yeah, that's basically adding the proper drones. And then what we can add on top of that is sliding into each of those notes. Not just doing those notes, but what we just talked about was sliding. So this would be single note slide, and then I'll add in the drone. So it'd be like that. So that's sliding. Now what we can do is add in the drone, which will be easier for some, very much harder for others, okay? So I'm going to do that, and it's not going to sound very good at all with this Zoom software. Actually, the E string drone is the worst, so this is going to not be great. But at least you can get the concept here. So yeah, I'm going to do it. Let me just back away from the webcam. That might help. I found that to work before. That's the one thing that has never worked with any software is droning with E string and A string. It also doesn't work very good with performing live in gigs. As far as your amplifier, it's hard to get that to sound good. All right, here we go. Ready, go. Yeah. All right. So now what I want you guys to do, if you guys want to make it even harder, instead of doing third finger with the open E, the drone, I want you guys to add in first finger on the E string instead of open. That sounds good, adding an F sharp. So it basically would be, instead of, it'd be F sharp as well. Like that. So that's actually a double stop in violin. So it's basically third finger on the A string with first finger on the E string, and you can even slide it. This takes good technique. See how high that first finger knuckle is? So now you guys know why we need high knuckles. See that? This is a testimony to this. A lot of you guys are like this. You cannot do this with having low knuckles. All right? So, so yeah, we're basically sliding, and anytime we have that third finger, instead of doing open, we're doing first finger along with the three, the D. Okay? Does that make sense? Great. All right. All right, so let's add even more. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to add what's called a tag to the end of this. Okay, anytime you play bluegrass, this is a bluegrass piece, you do what's called a tag at the end, which can be played different ways. It's basically a conclusion to the piece. Okay, so everything we just did followed by the tag. Okay. So yeah, a tag can be played different ways. I'll show you a way to do it. So here's just the single notes of a tag. So it's basically A, G sharp, A, E, F sharp, A, G sharp, F sharp, E, D, C sharp, B, A, okay? And then watch my bowing. Bluegrass bowing is commonly slur or separate, so. Then notice I did a down slide there, with the 1. You can do an up slide for the A's. Something like that. All right, so now what you can do is add in drones with that, okay? So whenever you're playing on the E string, you're going to play on the A string as well. And then when you're playing on the A string, you're playing on the E string as well. So this is rather challenging because we have to really make sure the fingers are not hitting that other string, right? Okay. So here's how it would sound with droning the tag, the ending. Like that. Okay. So basically that whole time we're playing on both the A and the E strings there. Okay. Any questions on that? Gallery view switcher. All right. Cool. All right. So so yeah, we have basically the whole tune. We have the Bile and Cabbage down. You can play it twice through. You don't have to go right from that to the tag quickly. You can repeat it. So I'm gonna repeat it, and then I'm gonna add the tag in at the end. Yes. Elisheva, I don't know. I don't know how to pronounce the name now. I get in those modes. How do you pronounce the name? How you doing? Go ahead. You have a question? Go ahead. Oh, don't have a question? That's no problem. Okay, so so yeah, let's play through it. I'll play it through at a sort of medium to slow speed, and then we'll play it fast because the faster we do it, the cooler it sounds.
I don't get this, Esther.
All right, so let's go ahead and go through it. You guys ready? All right, at a sort of medium slow speed. Ready? And then we'll do to the tag. Like that. So that's a whole whole piece with lots of drones. All right, and I love it the faster it goes. And other violinists that have been playing a while and fiddlers know what I'm talking about. Obviously, if you've only been playing for under 5 years, you're probably not going to even get close to this speed. Even 10 years, maybe, I don't know, depending on how good you are. If you're struggling to work up speed in fiddle tunes, it's just all technique. It's just all about getting good left hand position and also working on right hand. So many things that correlate and work the same way and will help you if you work on scales and your techniques and your drills. But yeah, I'm going to play it faster. Actually, I'll do a fast speed and then I'll do a super fast speed. Okay? All right, here's fast speed. Yeah, that's when I start to get more into it. Yep. All right, so that was fast speed. And you guys ready for super fast speed? So this is how I actually would play it, perform it. Like that. All right, any questions? Comments, questions, anything? Chat, somebody's chatting a question. Marianne, yes, please add whatever you would like. Sorry I didn't include more of your.
Well, that's all right. I just want to know what Ed's doing. I keep watching him play. I want to know what he's doing.
Oh, I would love to know what Ed's doing. Ed, what are you doing?
I'm the worst student there is. While you're talking to everybody else, I'm making up my own noise. Actually, if you were in my class, I would have thrown you out if I was doing that when I was teaching.
Oh yeah, you're used to be a math teacher, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you weren't paying attention, yeah.
Yeah, that's all right. Hey, as long as you're having fun. You're probably like, I can watch this recording later. I gotta get my practice in.
I'm just trying to get the right hand motion. I'm watching your right hand, seeing it. I'm watching mine on the little corner video there, and I was seeing if I was getting the same right hand motion as you were.
Nice job. Yeah, you're really improving with our.
One thing I forgot to mention too is that when you're tuning your violin, you can also use the, when your violin's in tune, when you take the A, for example, and you can hear it resonate. You know where your spot is, because all it is a resonant box.
Match it up to the open A.
And then when you want to tune the other string, all you do is go to the first harmonic right here.
Yep.
Halfway, and you got the octave up there, and so it's matching right here. And then you go to your D string, same thing. It should match right here. And your violin should ring at the same time.
That's right.
Because all it is just a resonating box.
Yep.
Same thing with the G right here. It should resonate. And go up here to that. It should sound the same.
Yeah, and just commenting on your technique, it looks so much better. We've really worked a lot on your technique in the classes. You've been lifting your bow off the strings a lot, and you're doing that great now. That's getting a lot better.
Well, I'm trying. I'm working at it.
So yeah, me, Ed, and another student, Tom Sears. A lot of you guys might have seen Tom in the chat community pages. He's with me, with Ed on Monday nights. We do a Chopin Farewell, so we're working on that. So yeah, we're on our first class, and then Ed's come to a few of the solid classes. So yeah, we've been kind of What have we been doing, Ed? Kind of brushing up your technique a bit?
That's right, yeah. I'm just working at it, trying to get my technique, especially my right hand. Trying to get that motion in my right hand.
Yeah, yeah, looks good. I really like how you're less lifting the bow off the strings. We were doing a lot of that in the beginning, and your elbows also moving nicely, changing string planes. That's great.
Yeah, so I'm trying, working at it. Takes time.
I would not say that you're not getting your practice in.
Thank you.
Can you guys see me?
No, we can't.
Okay, I don't know how to show you. I guess I have so many questions.
Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah, we can't, but I can try to answer them. And
Wonder
feel free to
why.
also ask Marianne a question too.
Look in the bottom left. If you're on the computer, look in the bottom left corner. There should be something like that looks like a video camera. You might have to click on that to turn it on.
Well, when my daughter did the lesson, I saw that and it was there, but I don't see it now.
Yeah, it was working fine earlier for you.
Wow, I guess I won't be able to show you. So how do you get started? This is like one of my was just once. And so other than just watching your lessons,
yeah.
How do I know I need to learn how to read music, but I don't really know how to read music. So do I have to learn how to read music, or can I learn how to just play by ear like I do?
That's a great question. Yeah, let me, I'll let Marianne answer that. I think she probably could answer that one.
I think that's up to you. Many fiddlers don't want to read music and never do and aren't interested and find that offensive, and other fiddlers like to read music because sometimes you can find tunes that way. But I find that it's tunes that are learned by ear stay in the memory longer. So you might be better off learning by ear then, in that case.
Okay, so for many years I literally played around on the violin, fiddle. I don't even know, I guess it's a fiddle. That's why I came to this class, because I figure this is more what I know. Even though I want to learn classical, I don't even know how to get started, that's all.
Yeah, it's a totally different world, but they correlate in the technical sense in a lot of ways, a lot more than what people think.
Okay.
But basically, as far as reading music, it varies a lot. Some fiddlers that are coming more from the classical side of things, they really like having all the sheet music, especially as the bass notes of the music, and then they can ornament. And even that normally is tough for classical players to ornament, even if they've been playing a long time. So it's kind of like they're coming from this side of the world, and they're kind of come where we're at. And then there's the fiddlers that come from the other side of the world, like the Nova Scotia fiddlers, and the people that have never done any classical and are trying to they want to sound better, so they want to improve their techniques. So they're coming from this direction. So typically these people over here are more non-music based. They're more by ear. These people are more with music. So. I don't want to say one's better than the other, but Marianne brought up a great point that it's easier to feel the music, or just to have it be easier to play by ear. But yeah, really, either one can produce good results.
You use a different part of your brain. If you read music, you use your left brain, and it doesn't stick. I find for me, I don't learn anything, but if I learn by ear, I'm using a different part of my brain, and it's more likely to stay in there. Yeah. So if you want to start memorizing tunes, that's a better way to go. And if you can always learn to read music later, if to find more music. Sometimes listening to recordings is a better way. But I would suggest starting with, if you're not sure where to start, starting with a few just basic lessons on technique, because if you don't have the technique, it will limit you as to how fast you can play. You should always take a few lessons, like you might want to come to the adult beginners group, for example, because he'll look at your bow hold and how you're holding the instrument. And that's always a good idea, even if you just do a few of those.
Okay, that's probably what I ought to do then, because, I don't even know. I'm learning, but what I'm doing wrong.
Well, I think you should come to both groups personally, but you know,
Okay.
it would be helpful to have a few lessons, maybe even a few private lessons from somebody like Michael, or if you have
Uh-huh.
someone local.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you haven't done private lessons, you know, anybody that doesn't ever get personal instruction of any kind, I mean, this could be considered personal-ish instruction with this many people, but anytime you're not getting that, like, I'm looking at your playing and saying, you know, what could be better, if you haven't done that in a long time, there's bound to be bad habits.
Oh yeah.
And there's probably a lot. If
Yep.
if it's been a while. So yeah, I mean, the technical side is going to help so many things. But I mean, there's two different worlds. There's the technical side of playing and the musical side. You always want to be doing both in some sense. So I think it's best to do a little bit of. I mean, the ideal would be to do both reading music and playing by ear,
Okay.
technique and playing for fun. I mean, like both worlds, it helps your playing really. So like I'm pretty versatile. Like, you know, you can find me playing at a country stage, or you can find me playing classical music and teaching and talking about technique. So like I'm sort of versatile. You know, I play by ear, but I also will read a concerto. You know, so like you know, but a lot of people are sort of like very passionate only about wanting to do one or the other, and that's not necessarily a bad thing regarding music. But the technical is the bad thing. You have to learn technique in some sense. I mean, you can go without it, but you're not going to sound as good as you want to, for sure. Right.
I've noticed that the old time jam that I go to, there's a lot of very bad technique there, and I see that it's limiting how fast a person can play. So that really is a good idea, at least to have at least a few lessons. After that, maybe not, but.
Yeah, you guys might have seen like just all the technique stuff, the droning, you know, and if your left hand's not in an ideal position, yeah, you're not going to be able to play fast. Exactly right. Ed, you have a question, Ed, or a comment?
At the discussion that if you start memorizing, basically you're limited about maybe 3 or 4 or 5 songs, depending how much you have in your memory. That's what I find anyway. So I just bore down and learn how to read music, and I find that now I can at least if I run across a song from a book like this right here, that at least I can get the idea what the song's supposed to sound like. And I've got all kinds of records from the old fiddling contests that used to be held around this area, but they play so fast on those records that I can't tell the notes.
Yeah.
That is another way to learn. I find that, and I read music, but I find that reading music gets in the way of me learning it. I don't learn it. It doesn't stay in my brain. But there are fiddlers in my old time group who know 500 tunes. So now it's more than 3 or 4. It's just a matter of practicing. It helps to have a jam to play with, a bunch of people to play with.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I think a lot of this, to add this discussion, the type of student that you are. I mean, there's a type of student that's a very technical student, and there's a type of student that's a very musical student. I think the very musical student will find restriction or just less progress, like, you know, just dwelling on technique like crazy, you know, to not have that musical side that they desire and that they strive on and they enjoy. So like what I try to do as a teacher is I try to really adjust to that sort of student on either side, but just kind of bring them in a little bit, you know, just, you know, not go crazy, you know. So like if you're a student that, you know, has never played with music before, you know, I try to just get you doing a little bit of that, you know, just a little bit, not saying you have to do it all the way, right? That's too much. That's because most likely that's like your learning style that you prefer. But there's some benefit to learning with music. There really is, and there's benefit to learning without music. There really is. There's both. So what I try to do is I try to bring a student in a little bit gradually, and then a lot of times what they'll do is they'll kind of adjust and kind of go their own way. But a lot of times they find the benefit if they do just a little bit. They're overwhelmed by it, you know. Yeah, go ahead.
I find that in my area, there's no more fiddlers around that I can jam with, and the people that do play guitar, they don't know the songs that I'm trying to play, and when I try to play one of their songs, I'm playing too slow or make a mistake or something that gets them nervous, and so that's one of the things. At one time, there used to be all kinds of fiddlers. I know that they knew a lot of songs because they kept playing one after another, but they've all gone, you know.
Where do you live? Because there's probably jams that you don't know about.
I live in Windsor, outside of Windsor, Ontario.
Oh, I think there are some
I know
that
pretty
way.
well all the fiddlers in this area.
I used to live in Detroit. I know there are some.
Learn to understand you much better if I can get familiar.
I know there's some in the Detroit area. I used to live there.
Oh yeah, because I haven't looked in Detroit, but I know that in the Windsor area there used to be, like in my hometown, there used to be something called the Bell River Fiddling Contest, old time singing and fiddling contest, and there used to be all kinds of fiddlers around. And
well, my suggestion is start a jam and welcome guitars, banjos, fiddlers, mandolins, anybody that wants to come, and just start with a couple tunes.
We have that.
Or even songs. People like to sing where I'm at. They like to sing to them.
And we have the Essex Old Time Bluegrass Club, and but a lot of people are bluegrassers, or they're basically old time Western singers. And when it comes to playing fiddle tunes, there's about one fiddler left, and he doesn't play that much anymore because he's getting too old now.
I think that for a city the size of Windsor, there's more than you think.
Well, maybe there is, but I haven't seen him. I belonged to this club for the last 20 years, and
put the word out. Start one, and if you have a place to play, start one. Even if you have two people to start with, that's how you get it going.
That's a good idea. Thank you.
You're muted, Michael. You're muted.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Good. Okay. So yeah, on Ed's point there regarding rhythm, I thought it would be really good to add a little bit to that. So I mean, yeah, I've been working a lot with students on rhythm related to them like wanting to learn fiddle. Because yeah, if you're not playing in proper meter, it's really hard to start a group, to start a jam, or just play with others in general. Because if the guitar player is playing at this speed and the fiddle player is at this speed, they don't mesh together, even if they're playing the same music. So I've been working on a lot of that with students to play in meter. So a lot of fiddlers, they have the argument that they kind of want to play it slow or kind of their own style. And I agree with that. I love to play musically, but it has to be in a structure, to where it's understood by other musicians. So I encourage you guys that haven't done a lot of technical training to get some advice or watch some of my webinars on rhythm, so that you understand how to go from measure to measure properly, so that the guitar player is playing along with you right on. That sounds musical. That sounds really good. So that's what makes a jam sound solid. Or playing, I used to play in country bands. I couldn't imagine being off the meter. I mean, you have to be on the meter. It's more obviously laid back with some groups and stuff, but and certainly people that don't play in proper meter can participate. But yeah, I just encourage you guys that haven't done a lot of technical side to also implement rhythm. That's huge. So, any thoughts on that, Marianne?
Well, in the jam that I play in, the fiddler usually starts with this sort of thing. That sort of thing.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, like if somebody's dragging, if they're dragging, yep.
Well, that sets the beat in the beginning, and then usually it speeds up a little bit.
Yeah.
It's supposed to stay there, and the guitars keep the rhythm, and sometimes we have a string bass, which helps. Yeah,
there's always players, and they're always invited, that are just a little bit behind the beat. They're trying to stay with it, but they're a little behind. So yeah, it's just good to sort of learn that and get it sort of to where you're able to play up to speed and keep the meter going. So yeah, Mary's just practicing away. Mary, how you doing? Did you enjoy the class?
Are you talking to me?
I am. I just saw you playing, calling you out and saying hi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, there's a version of Soldier's Joy you can play using drones.
Yep.
You know, just play the A and D strings together. Yes,
Yep.
I did. I enjoyed the class.
Good. Thank you. Yeah.
I really need help with the chromatic scale for a song
I
I'm
don't know.
working
Yeah,
on.
that's sort of a classical topic.
Oh, so I should be in the class. I know it, but I just can't. It's the C. It starts on a C, but I just can't. My fingers right. Do the jumps.
Yeah, I didn't mean that in a bad way. As any fiddler that does scales, technique, etudes, anything related to improvement is great. So yeah, chromatic scales can be challenging when we don't have good solid finger angles. You know, when we're like this, because we have to do those low ones and fours. So it's likely maybe you're just not back and high enough. You know, so.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's the one to do.
Yeah, so it's a lot of it's finger angles, staying back, having a good hand position.
Staying back. Okay.
Yeah, for those low ones, for sure. Yeah, that can get you off.
Ah, okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Thank you. Because you know what? When I do the fingering, when I go on the D string, it's 1, 2, then I have to do 1, 2. So I have to jump from 1, 2 to 1, 2, and then the last part.
Yeah, fingers should be doing this during any violin or fiddle playing. But yeah, it sort of exposes it, what you're doing with a chromatic scale. Yeah. So you might just be doing improper technique there. Yeah. Cool. Mary Ann, anything to add on that?
Not really. No, that sounds good.
Okay. The chromatic scale, whatever fiddle jam talks about and works on. I'm just kidding. Any other questions? Well, let's give Mary Ann a hand. Thank you, Mary Ann, for being here and participating as a teacher. So this is awesome. I love collaborating with you and getting your opinions and advice. So I really appreciate it. Mary Ann was the winner of the contest as far as entries. She had the most entries out of 3,000 people. She came to the most classes. She did all the the contest stuff, and she said she really enjoyed the classes, and now she's getting involved in helping out when she can with helping students with the violin and especially fiddle. She has such a diverse background in both. So yeah, another hand for Mary Ann. Thank you, Mary Ann. Awesome.
Yay.
So yeah, just to conclude, I really enjoyed being with you guys today. If you have any questions, feel free to message us on Facebook at the Violin Chat community. Got a great community of fiddlers and violinists and adult learners, and we're doing these classes every Tuesday night from basically 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock. I'm doing kids at 6, fiddlers at 7, advanced at 8, and adult violinists at 9. So our adult violinist class has about 50 students that come every week and got all their bow holds all on the screen and get to critique them. It's pretty fun. But yeah, I encourage you guys to participate in anything we're doing. Just visit violinshack.com. We have classes, we have YouTube recordings. I'm doing a lot of YouTube videos lately, so if you haven't checked those out, I have basically 2 courses going through all the fundamentals, all the technique. So actually, El Shiba, if you check that out, that covers very good technique of basically how to get started, how to get back into violin playing, fiddle playing. So I think that would be great for you. And then each lesson is like 2 minutes long. So it's real short. So, I mean, like I've had people say, oh, I just went through all 17 lessons in like a half hour. So that's really good technique for you guys. So yeah, just check out our Violin Chat community and participate, get involved with all of us learners. So thank you, and hope to see you guys next week.